Welcome to the webinar, Smart Rating. Wow, Smart Rating has arrived in PostalMate version 14.5. Plus, there's a USPS update. Plus, there's some FedEx changes. We're going to talk about it all right now. Just want to give you a heads up. There is some regional training coming up. Indianapolis, September 6th and 7th, and Orange County, California, November 8th and 9th. So if you're near there, come and see us. I'll be there. Sarah will be there. We bring a nice little team. We do in-person training all day on Sundays. If you are not near there, well, maybe you need a vacation or a get out of the house that weekend. So come and visit us. We would be thrilled to meet you, and you get a lot of one-on-one attention. Just some PostalMate reminders. In PostalMate, system status up at the top, where it's instead of help and about to find your serial number, or help and remote login for customer support to get us to log in. There's the first one is called help system status, and that shows you if all of the API connections with all the carrier servers and what have you, if everything's working as it should. If you ever feel like something's not working or you're experiencing an outage of some kind with something, go there first, and then you'll know if something's there. If you happen to be one of the first ones to find it, you may have to wait 5 minutes and go there, because we have to wait for people to report it before that's updated. So, and then the QR code system is working extremely well as designed. So far, 100% of all QR code issues are scanner related. In other words, the scanner is not functioning correctly, or the store didn't set it up correctly in PostalMate. There still is a number of QR codes that are not supported, particularly by FedEx. So you will not get a label with all of those. That is not a PostalMate issue. There's nothing we can do to fix that. That is a limitation set on purpose by FedEx. They are releasing this out slowly to you. They want to get a feel for how successful it is. As they move forward, they will open up more programs, so more QR codes will be successful. So if you see a percentage of fail rate, it is because of that. My understanding from most stores is about 7 out of 10 FedEx QR codes are successful and provide a label. If you are experiencing a higher number than that, well, then that might be an oddity, but it might be because of certain returns in your area or something like that. If you're getting no FedEx QR codes to print labels, then there's a problem either with setup or with your scanner. Just our agenda today, just so you know what we're going to be going over, and we'll start with the routine things, and we'll move up to the big things. How's that? So going with that, you might have noticed a change on some of your international shipping labels for post office through your Endicia account. Endicia has opted to activate the GAP program for nearly all of your international packages. That is, it's a function on their side. It is not PostalMate related. Remember, the carriers all handle your accounts. Your accounts are with them. New things or whatever, they can trigger on their side, and it's not necessarily something we do on our side. So this is something that Endicia has done. They did send you an email to the email you have on file with them on June 13th. This email tells you about the program. It also gives you your options. If you feel that the GAP program is not a good fit for you and your store, it'll give you your options there. You can go find that. And it looks like this. It gives you a label that is, instead of it's an international label, it's a domestic label, and it's sending it to a processing center, usually a global post processing center somewhere within the United States. And you might notice too, here's a live one, this tracking number that's on the label does not match the tracking number that's on your receipt, your customer's receipt. And a lot of stores don't like that. We were initially told that it would be one tracking number. It is not. So that was a miss in my opinion, not on our part. We can't control that. We were just misled on this. And the number that is on the tracking number that is on the customer receipt is the tracking number that will be used from the United States to the foreign destination. So this first tracking number that's on the label is only for the first day or two when it's getting to the processing facility. I realize that's not maybe what you want in your store. Again, I'm going to refer you to that email. And if you need help finding that email, we have it copied and it's available in our Help Center on our website. So go to our website to the Help Center, type in the words GAP. It's the one that says Endicia Global Advantage Program Activation. Click on that and it will bring up that letter in case you cannot find yours, or if it went to a different email, or some of you are managers or running a store and the owner doesn't forward you email. Make sure to reach that, look at that and see if there's anything that you need to learn from that. Our website is PostalMate support. And just a reminder, you never have to be logged into PostalMate to get help. The only thing you have to be logged into our website for is to do downloads. That's it. Okay. First thing on FedEx today. You know that report that comes out for FedEx Ground? So that report has been the bane of my existence. I hate this report with a passion because it's problematic. Sometimes it doesn't print. And sometimes we've had periods where months go by and it won't print for anybody. And then it comes back and what have you. And a lot of you have your driver sign it, but you're not really sure. This is not a PostalMate report. First of all, we would never make our PostalMate report look like this. This is an old legacy FedEx report. And FedEx recently told us that we should not be printing this anymore. So this report is stopping with the new update. So you will never see this report again. Now, you might be saying, what report do we use? I want my driver to sign something. Well, we have the consolidated drop-off pickup report. That's what I'm looking for. And I might have switched my slides here, so I apologize. Some FedEx changes that are coming up. I'll get back to that report. Some FedEx changes that are coming up. The international handling surcharge is being dropped from 70 pounds to 55 pounds. They have a rate change coming up the 14th. So there's two FedEx changes, a report change and then a rate increase. And the rate increase is not across the board. It is specific to certain surcharges as we understand it. Their oversized surcharges have increased. These are pretty dramatic increases, as you can see, up to 24% on one of them. However, just bear in mind that these bring them closely aligned to the other carrier that they compete with, who shall not be named here. So they're not like wild, wacky, out of range. They just, I mean, let's just face it. It seems crazy that there's a $300 surcharge for a big package. And just to be specific, this oversized surcharge is allowable oversize. So there's two kinds of oversize. There's allowable oversize and there's unauthorized oversize. So allowable oversize is when the package is longer than 96 inches length. So like window blinds or long poles or, things like that are maybe window blinds for like a sliding glass door, something like that. So longer than 96 inches or more than 130 inches length plus girth. So that would be a good example of that would be if you have a 24 by 24 by 30 inch box, well, technically that's under 130, but everybody knows that's the interior dimensions, not the exterior. So when you measure it, it probably ends up 25 by 25 by 31 or 32. That is definitely an allowable oversize. So this nearly $300 charge will kick in on that box. Perfectly allowable, ridiculous surcharge on these. And then the unauthorized fee for surcharge for packages for oversize is going up from $1,325 to $1,775. And plus there's a 20% or whatever it is, fuel surcharge on top of that in a lot of cases. This, just so you know, PostalMate will not give you a rate because it's unauthorized. And basically what it is you lied to the system, you fudged on the dimensions so that you could get a rate. And now you're sending a package that is larger than the accepted level that FedEx will accept. And they can refuse your package or they can accept it and charge you $1,775. Their choice on that. So never lie to PostalMate about dimensions or weight. Never fudge. And anytime you have a really ridiculously big box, so here's what I would classify. If you or your employee, normal sized people, can squish themselves into that box, you should be taking a camera and measuring yourself with all 3 dimensions and just storing that, because in 2 weeks you won't need it, but if you get overbilled within the 2 weeks, if they measure it something differently, then you'll have proof. And then the one rate, there is an increase for some services. I don't have the specifics on that. Now, here's what I do know. We did reach out to the FASC team. The rates, the increases I just shared are general to the general public. We have not had confirmation that it applies to FASCs, but I believe that they do. I have no reason to believe that they would not apply to you. It's just that we did not get confirmation before this webinar. The good thing is in PostalMate with Dynamic, you don't have to do anything. These rates are just going to happen on your account at their end. So PostalMate will continue to provide you the proper wholesale rate, add your proper margins, and you will be fine. Now, this is back to that report, and I knew I mixed up. So this is what that FedEx carrier pickup report looks like. And it is enabled in PostalMate. I'll show you quickly where that is, but it has the shipments, it has the drop-offs. In fact, I think I have, here's where you can get it turned on. PostalMate settings, drop-off settings. Make sure to select FedEx Ground and FedEx Express or FedEx. You're going to need to do both, and then enable the carrier pickup report number 4 there. So step by step, and that will produce that report, and there is a signature line for the driver on that. And again, the report looks like this, and I think I can blow that up so you can see it lists all your shipments. In this case, I had 1 regular shipment and I had, looks like 6 drop-offs. All right. Tax ID to Mexico is becoming troublesome for some people. All the carriers are handling this a little bit differently. And just so you know, it is the authorities in Mexico that are rejecting packages and turning them back, even sometimes when they have the tax ID on them. So it's very clear that some authorities are either refusing to look carefully, refusing to look for it, refusing to acknowledge it, whatever reason. Maybe they're angry at the United States. I mean, the whole world is right now, so why not? And they're refusing packages and returning them, even though you're doing your job. So I'm going to give you some advice, and that's all it is advice. Is print out an extra blank label. You know, the little button on your label printer. Okay, and a blank one comes out, rip it off, take your Sharpie, and use the yellow first, and then take your black Sharpie and write on top of the yellow something like this in your writing. The RFP, CURP number, or just, you can put tax ID number, but in Mexico it's called RFP is if it's a personal number, and CURPD, yeah, is if it's a business. And these numbers are not secret. They're not like our Social Security numbers. They are, you can even in Mexico, there's websites where you can go and look somebody's up. So these are not a big deal if everybody sees it. And then, okay, so that didn't work out. And then if you have questions, call the shipping store and put your store phone number. And if you put that right next to the label, I think that will help a lot of times. In other words, make it really easy for the customs official to do their job and find that number. So I always figure the easier you make it, the harder it is for them to turn it back. So just that. Everybody in Mexico knows their tax ID number or their business number. Everybody. It is commonplace. They know it just like they know their phone number. So your sender can contact the receiver if they don't have it and get it. Absolutely 100%. Just as a reminder to you guys, a third of our team is in Mexico, is Mexico based. And that's why we are absolutely 100% sure that the people that you're sending to in Mexico know their tax ID numbers. We have also a couple of corrections. There was a PDF reader conflict. So if you had a PDF open, or maybe you did an international shipment and it populated to the PDF and then you printed it and then you never closed that, and then you have another PDF or another international shipment that goes to a PDF to do a commercial invoice, you get an error message. And the reason for that was because you already have it open with a different commercial invoice. It required you to close that so it could open a new one. We have corrected that status. That was a a change that I believe Adobe made, and so we had to make a change to adapt to it. No big deal. That correction is in this update. And then for USPS, they are moving some labels from the 8.5 by 11 to the 4 by 6, and they will print out a series of usually 4. So the label and commercial invoice and another one, and then usually a customer copy of something, probably the commercial invoice, and they can sign right on that. So Priority International and Express International, I think you will see going to the 4 by 6. Also, the GAP label that has been printing on 8.5 by 11, that will also go to 4 by 6. So my understanding is, since these are now on 4 by 6 sticky labels, if there's room on the package, you can go ahead and stick them all on. If there's not room on the package, stick the label on and then put the others in a pouch. I think that should do you good. Okay, some other USPS things coming. Oops. Oh my gosh, Kiss. Oh, so sorry. Forever stamp. I was up till like 10 o'clock last night finishing this, guys, because there was still new details coming in. Forever stamp is going up from 73 cents to 78 cents. So that's the actual physical forever stamp that you buy from the post office and you sell over the counter. The metered stamp that you print out from Quick Postage is going from 69 cents to 74 cents. So you're still getting a discount. It is still 4 cents, I believe, of a discount. So expect that. Certified mail and return receipt are increasing in price. These go into effect Monday, so technically Sunday, but Monday for us. Other increases, other first class letters and flats are going up. Priority mail is going up a little over 6%, and Ground Advantage is going up a little over 7%. All of that is in the update. Make sure you read the update guide. You will need to go through the quick rate setting utility for these. New characteristics. Post office is going to have surcharges for article not in standard container now. So this is a new surcharge. They introduced surcharges as a whole a couple of years ago. They were late to the party, but they recognize that there's a lot of money to be made here. So they are starting at surcharges for non-standard packaging. Tube, you've heard this routine before: tubes, cylindrical containers, buckets, etc. So in the past, before this update, like right this minute, if you do a tube and it's 24 inches long by 3 inches by 3 inches, it will apply the non-standard surcharge because it's 24 inches. But beginning Monday, it will apply it for a tube that is 18 inches, so or 6 inches, or any tube. So but you do need to select article not in standard container, because PostalMate doesn't know it's in a tube unless you tell it's in a tube. Also, that article not in standard container is wooden, metal, plastic, or glass containers. And the next one is, I'm scratching my head on this one, is when there's 24 ounces or more of liquid. Now, how they're going to know that it's not 23.5 ounces versus 26 ounces is beyond me. That one puzzles me. But because they can't open most of these packages, that's not allowed. So when there's 24 ounces or more of liquid, then it's also considered an article not in standard container. And any package that fails to maintain its shape. And this one I'm really nervous about. So they didn't give any specifics, but you and I are in the shipping industry, and we both know that a padded envelope, if you squash it sideways, it won't maintain its regular shape. So does that mean a padded envelope is now a non-standard container? My gut says no, but I'm also going to suggest that with 300,000 post offices in the United States, there's going to be some postmasters that get this wrong. So time will tell, and usually the post office will refine these rules over time, but it's slow to come up when they do, so to correct things. So this one, again, I'm a little bit nervous about, but again, they don't specify. So I'm trying to figure out what's package that, would you send that fails to maintain its shape? A Tyvek envelope certainly could be in that category. So if you put something inside a Tyvek envelope, that kind of molds to the shape of the object inside. So I that one probably is. So just know about that. In the past, by the way, holidays and Sundays were actually travel days in the post office. So if you sent something out on a Friday, it could easily get somewhere on a Monday that should take a couple days. That would probably now be a Tuesday because they're not counting holidays or Sundays anymore as travel days. That's something that is just going to, we're just going to see first class, priority, and ground advantage start taking just a little bit longer, an extra day or two than it currently does. Carrier pickup feature. This is a new feature in PostalMate. Oh, I'm looking at what my, forgive me. Forgive that. Yeah. I copied and pasted too many times on this. Okay. Carrier pickup. Where do you enable this? It's in the update guide, and I'm going to make you read the update guide. But let me tell you what the carrier pickup feature is, because clearly I was up too late. This is the David feature, and David knows who David is, and this is a David feature. This feature has been requested for some time, and we wanted to add it as soon as we could, and it happens to land in this update. When you close out your day, you need to make sure, and I think I have a slide on this too, and I apologize. You need to make sure that all of your packages are sent over to the POS, to CashMate, before you close out your day. I think you're all aware of that. And then you can do your carrier pickup, right? But you have to go to the master station to do your carrier pickup, but not anymore. Now you can do a carrier pickup from any auxiliary station in your network. You will have to set it up and enable it on that station. So if you have one station that is better for that, and maybe your master's in the back office or for whatever reason, you no longer have to go to the back office. You can enable it on that one station up front that you want to use for it, and you can do it on that station instead. That should make it easier. You can enable it on all of your auxiliary stations if you want. If you have 5 of them, you can enable it on all of them and do it from whatever one. You do still have to make sure that all the packages are moved over to CashMate before you do it. So you have to holler out to all the staff, everybody okay for a pickup on FedEx and whatever. And if it is, then you can go ahead and do it. But now you can do it from the auxiliary. And Alex says, thank you, David. So this is the David feature. All right. Let's see here. That's when you're doing the carrier pickup. Okay, I told you I had a slide on this. I just apologize for the mix-ups. And the mix-ups are going to continue because I duplicated that one several times, and I'm so sorry. All right. Next feature. Who are you? I want you to review these really quickly, and I know you're busy, but I want you to review these really quickly. And I want to share with you a couple of polls real quick about which one of these you might be. And some of you are chicken of your rates. I get that. Touching rates is a little bit scary. Some of you prefer one carrier over another. Some of you micromanage and do really detailed rate setup. Some of you have it set or inherited it from a previous owner and just don't want to touch it. It's fine. I don't want to mess something up, so I'm not going to touch it. I'm making money. I'm fine. So pick that, and then I'm going to launch this. I'm going to do it a little bit backwards here. The first one I'm going to do is this one, my level of rate setting comfort. And if you would please click on this and make a selection on your comfort with setting rates. And there's no bad answer, and nobody knows which one you selected, so nobody's going to get picked on here. And I can tell you that there's more chickens than will fess up to it, but that's okay. All right, and we're going to close this poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am going to share it with you so that we can see. And we had 27% are chicken, 27% micromanage, and 46% says they're working, I'm not going to mess with them. And that's kind of what I expected. Maybe I'm a little bit surprised at the number that micromanage their rates. I think that's really great. So I have one more poll because it's going to help us to understand the next feature that we're going to talk about, which is SmartRating, that we're so excited about. So let me get to that one really quickly. And I want to know your rate setting strategy. So what is your personal rate setting strategy? Some of you have a favorite carrier. Maybe it's because you've had a better pattern of delivery, or you feel you get better rates from them, or you like that driver better because the other driver's stinky armpits. Who knows? Whatever it is, there's a reason that you make decisions. So, and some of you say, I have it mixed. I want my FedEx to go air, be better with air and UPS ground or whatever. So whatever you choose. And I'd like as many of you as possible to quickly vote. And we're going to close this poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I will share with this with you too. All right. So here's what we got. 43% say this, let the carriers fight it out. I like it. 17% favor one carrier, 7% the other carrier, and 33% are mixed. I like it. It's perfect. That is going to lead us into our next feature. So this is designed around the micromanage option here. And many of you want to micromanage your rates, but are afraid of micromanaging your rates. And what I mean by that is, do we all agree that we sometimes get rates that just aren't, there's a difference between what FedEx and UPS shows, or FedEx and DHL, or whatever, and we're just not sure why. So this is our introduction to SmartRating, and SmartRating is actually patentable. So we do have a patent pending on this. This is our first patent related to a function of PostalMate that I can think of. There's probably others, but it's a really big deal. This was concepted. I lost that word. This was the person who had this idea. His name is Tyler Sorensen. He works for us. Very smart guy. I always tell everybody I hate him because it should have been my idea and it wasn't. But I really, really love this program. I did have a healthy hand in some of the features in it. One of my requests to our team, our development team, was that it be very easy to set up, like one click. And it is. It's very easy to set up, because things that are hard to set up and that you have to read a lot, people just don't do it. And I guarantee that for 90% of you or more, this is going to make you a boatload of money, a lot of money. And you're going to see why in a minute. So we're going to look at some rates here. And this is a rate setup. And I want you to look at it and see if you agree. This is something that you could frequently see on your screen. So you've got, and it doesn't matter which carrier it is that's lower. In the interest of fairness, with all of my samples today, I favored both carriers equally. So on one screen, you might see one carrier favored. On the next slide, you might see a different carrier favored. So I didn't want to cheat any of the carriers. So in this case, UPS is clearly a little over $7, $5 and change difference between these two, right? I'm going to take some notes here. So with ground, there's a $5.39. Okay. So with 3-day, they're almost equal. So meh, don't have to write anything down for that. And then for 2-day, there's, again, a little over $5 difference between this. Now, in most circumstances, and not all, some of you are fantastic salespeople, and you will always upsell the customer, and you will get them to the $70 one without even talking about the $65 one. I get that, and that's a beautiful thing, but that's not most of you, and that's certainly not most of your employees. Most of you or your employees will always sell the cheapest one. So for a 2-day, you would offer $65.45 and go with that. That's your cheapest one. If they see the screen, they can see that's the cheapest one, and that's the one that you're going to sell regardless. And that's normal. That is absolutely normal behavior. And look, you've got your margins set so that this gets you what you're supposed to have. So it's not dying, but we will all agree there is $5.19 left on this table, right? In between these two. Wouldn't those who micromanage, and again, I'm going to go back to David again. David also was kind of the guy that inspired Tyler on this. This is the David effect. We're going to have to start calling him Saint David, aren't we? Saint David. He inspired this. He actually goes in manually and manipulates and tries to get these closer so that this number and this number are closer and this number and this number are closer so that he doesn't leave that money. He's still going to leave one less. I mean, obviously one of them has to be less. I mean, he could make them equal, but that's the idea, is to have one less. And so you can say the least expensive I have that will get there on that date will be X. And then your customer goes, okay, we know that drill. That's what you do day in and day out. The question is, do we really have to have a $5 difference? What if it was a $2 difference or a less than $1 difference or whatever? Maybe the higher the number, the bigger the difference can be. So maybe on a ground, it's not much difference. Let's see what that would look like. So this is what the notes shows what it was on the old one, but now we see different rates. You can see they're in exactly the same place. So we have, but now we have an 86-cent difference. We're still going to sell that lower priced one, but now there's only an 86-cent difference. With 3-day, we still aren't going to do anything because it's fine. And on the 2-day, it's now a $2.12 difference. So if we sold the ground one, there would be an 86-cent difference. Oops. And if we sold the 2-day air one, there would be a $2.12 difference. You would have made an extra $3 minimum on this just because of this micromanaging. This is SmartRating. This is what SmartRating does. It looks at the difference between and it raises the lower one up closer to the second one so that you don't leave so much money on the table. Understanding? You still aren't, it's not going to affect your settings. It's going to do it on the fly. You will not see it move. It will be there the moment their rates are on the screen. That's it. There's no change on the fly. So it just happens. So when it gets to the screen, it would look like this screen and not the one hiding behind the black chalkboard. Okay, so it would look like this automatically. You would never have seen this one on the screen. Now, this sounds wonderful, and you can see that if you're picking up $2 to $5 on, let's say, 10 packages a day over 25 days in a month, all of a sudden you're picking up a lot of extra dollars. But you do have that customer, you know, the one sends the same thing every week, or he's a good customer, but he's going to whine and complain about everything. Remember, you can always give a discount. You can always give a discount. So I said I wanted an easy way to set this up, and it's going to be available in your shipping rates, and it's right here. That's all there is to the setup right now. So you just enable it. You can change the 3% if you want. That's what it comes by default. So it's going to move that bottom one up to within 3% of the top one. But I need to explain something here. It's only looking at the base rates. Sometimes there's a surcharge one carrier that will have that the other one won't. That's going to throw it off. Sometimes there's other circumstances, a Saturday delivery or something that's going to throw it off. There will be things, and this will be refined over time. So we didn't put a beta tag on this, but I'm going to tell you that in a year, this will look differently than it does today. Also know that right now in its current form, it is only UPS, FedEx, and DHL. We will be adding other carriers into the mix, and we will be giving you the ability to not have those carriers in the mix if you want. but I don't want to complicate this. I want to make it very easy. For those of you who are interested in making more money, here's what I think, here's my advice to you. Don't sweat this. It's not, look, you could have sold the other service anyway at the $5 higher price. If they had said, no, I want XYZ carrier, then you would have sold it at that anyway. Your rates are not going to go crazy. For most of you, not all of you, but most of you, 90% of you, I want you just to turn it on and forget about it. In fact, don't even tell your employees it's on. And then go and look at your additional profit. So right here, you'll see down at the bottom, it says SmartRating has generated an extra profit. In fact, let me blow that up. There you go. So SmartRating has generated an estimated 40 cents in profit. I only did one package and it was happened to be 40 cents extra. This will get cumulative. So this will increase over time. So in a month, I want you to come back and look at this and see what it looks like. And if you want more details, of course, we created a report for you and it looks like this. So this is that 40-cent package. I made 40 cents more on this one. And so you will be able to see details with your total, and it's date sensitive. So you'll be able to set your date range and look at how much extra you made in that day, in that week, in that month, et cetera, and see how SmartRating is doing for you. I also want you to let me know, I would like you to let me know when, not all of you, I've got 1,500 people on the webinar, but I would like a few of you to let us know how well this is working for you. And we will be refining this over time, but I think that you're going to be surprised at how much money this makes for you. And I see the questions rolling in, so bear with me. Let me continue explaining. So it's going to look like this. On a regular rate like this, this is the cheapest one in this case, and this is the one that was moved. This one has SmartRating applied, and I'm going to show you how you can tell which rates it is. And on a regular screen like this, you will have several SmartRated rates because you usually have several services on the screen. So there will be one for ground, there might be one for 3-day, there might be one for 2-day, there might be one for next day, there might be for next day saver. You get the drill, okay? So in this case, just comparing the ground, FedEx ground and UPS ground. When I highlight this, remember we get the information, we get the numbers up here. There's a new number called the BSR. That's how you know that this one has SmartRating. BSR stands for before SmartRating. So before SmartRating was applied, this rate was $36.11. Now, if you have that customer that says, what, that was only $36 last time. Well, yeah, it was. And you can give them a discount back down to $36 if you want. Now you can see that what your price was, and you can see that you're gaining $4 on this single shipment, just like that. And you're still selling it less than the other carrier. So that's a win, guys. You're still selling the least expensive, but the difference between the two isn't so dramatic. Again, multiply that $4 times 6 shipments a day times 25 days a month, or however busy your store is. You know how busy your store is, but you can see how this can add up over time. All right, so there we go. And there's that BSR. There's what that looks like. By the way, in this area here, we did remove the ID number, which you guys don't use, but our development team uses. So the ID, so we would have room for more numbers here. So that's why we can put the BSR in all circumstances here. Okay. Things to know. This is an evolving feature. I can't stress that more. It will change in how it functions a bit over time. It'll refine. We will always try to make decisions that will be best for you. A year from now, I will have 9 out of 10 of you saying this is the greatest thing on earth, and I'll have one of you saying horrible. Well, that's how it rolls. You know, people don't like change, but please trust us that we are going to make the best decisions we can. If we make a mistake, we'll roll it back. But I think that we've thought this out pretty well. And you remember, we have a lot of people on our team that were former store owners. We get it. This has been in beta testing for the last a couple weeks anyway. working very well. So we are pretty confident of this. Like I said, there are going to be some circumstances where the rates are a little bit different than you expect or aren't applying as we'd expect. I caught one today. It was because of Saturday deliveries and stuff. So there'll be some cases where it won't quite apply correctly. But you can roll with it. I don't think that it's going to harm anything, and if it's going to make you more money overall, I think it'll be a great thing. We will listen to your feedback on this. Post office is one I really want to add to this mix. It's going to be a little bit tricky getting post office services in there. We're not doing FedEx one rate services in this, and we probably will never do post office flat rate into the mix, because many of you have those purposely set at a certain rate, and I don't want to mess with your settings on that. You have customers that frequently use the same thing on that, and you have it set that way for a reason. This is primarily on rates that are weight-based that we're working on. And in the future, we will add some features, but the idea is to keep it a simple turn on, turn off. And then if you want to go change what our defaults are, you can go and change the defaults later. One of the things that we are looking at is, and it is not now, but in the future, is the ability to opt a single customer or group of customers, but customers out of the SmartRating. So if I have one customer and he comes in and ships all the same things, or I don't want him to be in this, get SmartRating for whatever reason, opt that customer out. The other thing you do need to be aware of is some of you use our feature where you have level discounts. If a customer does have level discounts enabled, then SmartRating automatically will not apply to them. So we didn't want to mess with a discount program you already have. Okay. You want to know more. I know you want to know more. So I'm showing you now where to get the details. You can get the details here today, even though the release isn't right now. So you can read about it before the release, and I encourage you to do that. So go to our help center and just enter SmartRating, and you'll see SmartRating in PostalMate, and print that out. It's a very detailed level explanation. It also will show what carrier groupings there are. So for example, FedEx home delivery and UPS ground residential, FedEx ground and UPS ground commercial. You get the idea. FedEx priority overnight and UPS next day air, 10:30. So those kinds of granular details, so you can see how we grouped it together. We think we did a good job in making that work. We are going to do it live in this webinar, so we're going to go to it live in PostalMate and see what it looks like. Okay. Questions and answers. Oh boy, I'm setting myself up here. Before we get to, in fact, I'm going to stop with the question and answers. I'm actually going to go straight to PostalMate so we can see it live. And then we'll do questions and answers. So, because hopefully I'll get a few questions answered here. So here's the circumstance where I have put a 12-pound package, 12-10-6. It's going to zone 5. So that's pretty average. And you can see FedEx ground and UPS ground commercial. And in this case, this one is the one with the BSR. This would have been $34.25, and instead it's $38. So that was an increase of a little less than $4, so like $3.75 or so. So you would have made $3.75 extra, and you're still choosing the same one that was less before. So it didn't change the place where it was. It's still the lesser one. It's just closer to the next one. And over time, we think that that's going to add up really well. Let's look at let's do 2-day. Let's see if I can do 2-day air. Here's UPS, and that has the BSR. This was $113 before, and it's $138 now. Guys, if my math is right on the fly, that's $25.50 extra you would make on this, and it's still less than the next choice, which happens to be FedEx. So that's a win. In my book, that's a win. Now, again, remember, you can always give a discount. So if this is 113 and you don't want to do it and you want to give them about a $25 discount, you can do the discount on the next page. Watch, we're going to go next. Oops, I actually have to pick an address. Okay, you would go next and there's a minus sign. We'll do that in a minute. But I want to stop here and I'm going to look at the questions and see if there's some things I can answer before I go messing with it again. Said dynamic pricing feature be off by default. So dynamic pricing is where we get the prices from the carrier. That's still part of this. In fact, this is all able to happen because we have dynamic rating. So it's all incorporated. This is not a required feature. You can use it or not use it. Look, if your business model doesn't support this, by all means, don't use it. Some of you are very good with your rates, know what you're doing, have it set perfectly, don't use it. This is designed for stores who don't feel good that their rates are where they should be and feel like they're leaving money on the table and want to try it. That's what this is for. 3% is the recommended start for this. You can make it more or less, but we did it by percentage instead of a dollar amount because on a small package, a 75-cent difference makes sense, right? But if you're talking about an international package where it's $400, 75 cents isn't going to make a big difference. So we would, by percentage, then you get a better result, I think. It will do the same for international, and they will vary. And I'll if we have a minute, in a few minutes, I'll try to show you that. I see a lot of people excited about this. Can you turn it on for some services and not others? Not at this time, but will we in the future have the ability where you can? Yes, right now it's enabled for UPS, FedEx, and DHL. All right. One rate is excluded. Okay. And I'm getting I get one person who's upset about this, and he feels that this is a lie. And I want to address this. This is not a lie. This is done every day in all other businesses in the modern world. Call an Uber. See what your rate is. Wait 15 minutes. Call an Uber. See what your rate is. It's different. It's based on the changes in that moment. Get a plane reservation. Wait 6 weeks. Get the same plane reservation. It's a different rate. These happen all the time. This is dynamic rating at its peak, used as it should be. Your margins are set by you. You could have done what David does at his store and micromanage all of your rates and set them so that they come out this way without having SmartRating enabled. He does it. He's done it to his store. He's wildly successful with it. And that's good. But it's a full-time job for him just to handle that. This is not lying. This is optimizing your prices. This is business. And if you feel it's not for you, that's okay. But this is good business. Look, people, my motto has been, and I do not want to slam this down your throat for some of you, and I totally respect that this is not for you, and that's okay. But the goal usually for us is to make as much money as we can while retaining customer loyalty. That's what we're going for. We want our customer to be happy and smile and repeat, but we still have to pay the bills. And this is designed to help you with this. You always, always have the option of giving a discount, always. So your decision, your business, it's your decision. A question, what is the A, B, C, and D numbers? And right now, the B number is not really reflective. So it's now the A, C, and D numbers and the BSR numbers. So A is your cost. It's what you should get on your bill. The C number is not available by FedEx, but it is for UPS and DHL and Post Office. And that is the published rate before discounts. The D number is your profit. And the BSR number is what your rate was before rating. So what the retail rate was before SmartRating was enacted. Okay, SmartRating is in the next update. I can tell you that some stores who were looking at this in detail prior to this in beta decided that they're going to have their SmartRating margin set to 0. And that should set the rates identical in most cases, or very close to identical, with the exception of surcharges. Surcharges can mess that up. It will come to you off. You will have to enable it if you want it. So we're not forcing this on anybody. This is an option, folks. That is correct, Ben. If a customer has a discount level applied, they will automatically be opted out of SmartRating. That's how it's supposed to function, yes. Concerned that USPS pricing will still be significantly less? Raise your USPS pricing then. That's an easy answer, but I get it. If post office is included in this and it's $19, then it's going to be significantly less and there's nothing in between. That is a real factor, and that's why we want to bring post office into this mix for exactly that reason. We think that there's a lot of money left on the table. We know that post office is usually cheaper on that 1 or 2 pound item. Once it gets up to 5 or 6 pounds, then it starts to be maybe a UPS or FedEx thing is equally good or better in rates. We understand that. And I'll also remember that you get to design how your rates appear. So in this example, I don't even have post office showing on the main screen. It's available over at post office. If I go there, I don't know where I have it. I might have it over there. Yeah. I was messing with these, so I apologize. But I don't have it on my main screen. You can take post office, especially Ground Advantage and Media Mail, take it off your main screen. If you're going to use SmartRating, you might want to take all post office on the main screen and only have it on a tab that says US Mail or post office. That you can design this how you want. So the 3% difference, what it does is it takes, let's say I have a wholesale rate, a base retail rate of $10 and a base retail rate of $7. That it's the 3%, 10% or 3% of $10 is 30 cents, right? So it's going to take that $7 up and make it $9.70. So it's within 3% of that top line. Now, again, if there's fuel surcharges or other surcharges, it could mix that up. But the idea is to take that base price of $7 and move it up to $9.70. That's within 3% of the base price of the upper one. Okay. It will not be 100%, but again, you have controls over what you select with your customer. Okay. Janelle, I don't know the answer to that. Post office has not disclosed that. All right. The new feature, we're excited. Okay. SmartRating is off by default. Even if you're not sure, I would love for you to try it for just a week. I mean, try it for a week and see if you make extra money from it. If it makes you crazy and you can't stand it, turn it off. Here's what I think. I think that a year from now, we're going to have a whole bunch of stores reporting significant increases in their profit. That's what I anticipate. That's what I think. Your call, your store. We're very focused at PostalMate on trying to come up with ideas that help your bottom line, help your profits. And I hope that you see this. This is a pretty big initiative. And we want you to make as much money as you possibly can. All right. So Smart Update is in the next release of PostalMate. We had hoped to have that update out today. It is not. We are waiting on an issue with Endicia right now. The new non-standard article not in standard container is built into PostalMate. When we send it over to Endicia, it gets lost. So they don't have, we are waiting for them to find the correct field for us to enter it into, or for them to accept it and put it into on their end, so that it is reflects properly on the postage label. We hope to hear from them today. If we hear from them today and can get it built in and tested, then the release will be tomorrow. If there's a holdup, that would be the reason why. So we keep reaching out to them, and my guess is it's in the works there, so they're ignoring us until they can tell us that it's fixed. But that's why. So if you had to, if I had to say when it's going to be released right now, my best guess is tomorrow. 3% is what I recommend you start with. If you want to change it, you certainly can. I want to go really quickly to an international so you can kind of see what that looks like. I'm kind of taking my life in my hands here. Let's see what we get to. Now, and when we get there, you're going to see stupid, crazy high DHL prices. These DHL prices are not realistic, and it's going to skew the whole thing. These DHL prices, DHL will not give us test prices that are similar to yours. So consequently, it throws off the whole game when we include DHL. But this is an example. We can use the first one as a great example. We would all agree, I think, that FedEx International Economy and FedEx International Worldwide Expedited, these two right here, are similar services. They both get there on Tuesday to the United Kingdom, okay? This one is SmartRated. The price on this one was $223. So by my calculations, there's what, 40 some odd dollars, $46, $47 that it increased this one, and it's still $9 less than the next one. So you're still going to be successfully able to sell this one, but you will have made an extra 40 something dollars on this. Again, remember, you can give discounts if you need to, but in most cases, you're still selling the lesser priced one. So SmartRating is in the release that will be released tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. Come on, Endicia, fix it. So tentatively for tomorrow. So SmartRating is in that release. I wouldn't talk to you about it unless that was true. Okay. Woo, lots of questions. So this functions the same as everything else. So if I select this and let's see, if I do this, I'm going to end up having to do an international. I'm going to have to do a customs form, but I'll just go this route. Bear with me just a second. One each, USA, correspondence, $1. Next. Yep. Do I want a harmonized code? Yep. Don't do as I do. Okay. All right. So now we're sending it off to the carrier. You know the drill. Okay. Now we've got our label. Yeah. Okay. So now we've got our label. Bear with me a minute. I do not have CashMate open, and we know that that will throw this into the hold function. So let me open CashMate real quickly. CashMate. Come on. And I updated just before this, so it's going to take a bit. And it's going to growl at me because I've got too many windows open. There it comes. Okay, so we want to see what it will look like. Okay, and make sure it's open. Okay, we're good. So now we'll do this, and you want to see the rate that comes over, and it is exactly the same rate. So we're golden here. Okay. Hopefully this will be an amazing feature. We may have to do more training specifically on this as we move forward. Please give it a try. I know it's a little bit scary, but you have the controls to turn it off and on. You can turn it off and on during the day if you want. You can go into Tools, PostalMate Settings. It's very easy. You'll be able to go shipping rates, and it's right here. So if I do this, I've just turned it off. Click Save. If I do this, I've just turned it on. Click Save. That's it. Easy peasy. All right. Any other questions here? Does SmartRating only work if the two services are on the same tab? Oh, that's a great question. No, they are not tab specific. They are uh, uh, specific to their grouping. And so that go to our website, to the Help Center. In fact, let me go there with you. Let's see if I can. Okay, go to our website. Okay. Help Center, and we're going to type in SmartRating. And we're going to click on this. This is the overview, and you can print this out. There's a lot of detail here, the things I don't have time to go over today, but this is the groupings. So you know what's grouped together, okay? So ground domestic commercial, these two, ground domestic residential, these two, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When we get down to international, you can see what three are done together. And we did also ground Canada. So you can see how they're grouped, and it wouldn't matter if they're on the same tab or not. They're still going to do SmartRating. And when you switch tabs, it will not change prices. SmartRating will come up automatically on those screens. Alrighty, so print this out and read it and review it. I know it's kind of a lot to handle. Take your time. There's no hurry in this, but I will report in future webinars the success rate on this. If you have some great successes on it, please let us know. We're looking forward to that. Let me look over my notes here and just make sure that we do have, there was recently, so FedEx has had some issues with their drop-offs. The count that they have that they're receiving on their end, and that's not from PostalMate, it's from their drivers. The count they're receiving from their drivers, I think they had a system failure where the driver entered it and everything, but they had a system failure. So please check your commission checks or your checks for drop-offs and make sure that they are relatively close to what PostalMate says. We're hearing some stores that are off by hundreds of shipments. When that happens, you can dispute it with FedEx. They do require a specific report out of PostalMate. You do have to have Excel on the computer to run that report because FedEx requires that the report be in Excel. By the way, you can, I think, let's see, drop off report. Come on. Yeah, it froze my system. I have too many. I have like 15 windows open right now, guys. It's crazy. And then you will get the instructions for printing that drop-off report for your dispute. Okay. Other questions while that's thinking about things? How do we get DHL remote area fee to show in PostalMate? So I'm going by memory here. For DHL DSPP locations, they waive the remote area fee. I believe that is still true. If that's not true, somebody correct me, but I believe that is still a benefit of being a DSPP. Yeah, Andrew, I can't tell you the answer to that. All I can do is read what Post Office puts out. What is considered a non-standard container is for the Post Office is still somewhat subjective. In other words, there's not a lot of guidance given, and anything I do would be just a guess. Yeah, it's not gonna too many things going on. The webinar program is a resource hog, guys. All right, let's see what else is going on. estimated time release for SmartRating tomorrow, hopefully, crossing fingers. Are the carriers aware of this feature and acceptance of this feature? So the carriers don't have a say-so in what you charge for retail rates. That is your decision. So they not only, in fact, they don't want to have a part of this. That would be violating some federal laws. So this is not something that we have to run by them. And what topic? Yeah, I'm missing a lot of it. Sorry, there's 1,500 of you, and it's a little crazy. What's that? Okay. Thank you for that. I won't share who just said it, but somebody can't believe that somebody got upset about this feature. We do give you the option of turning it on or off, but guys, we're trying really hard for you. We really do. Yeah, I won't do that, Chris. You don't have to enter a percentage with SmartRating, but there's already one in there for you. So we'll go back to the setup. I mean, it's really, I love how easy the setup is, on or off. And this is the default we put in here for you is 3%. You can change that to whatever number you want. So if you want it 0, you can change it to 0. If you want it 5, you can change it to 5. If you want to play with it and go look at your rates, you can do that. Internally, we've kind of decided 3 is a pretty good number. But if you're wanting that lower one, I mean, if you purposely have that lower one and you still want it to be lower, you can do that. It will not do it backwards. In other words, if there's a let's say there is a 10% gap and you set it to 12%, it won't lower that bottom one and make you lose money. That is not happening. It will never cause you to lose money. It will never lower a rate. It only has the capability of raising a rate. So if you are nervous about that lower number being too close to the second one, maybe you have a store setup where you have one store pretty high and the other one carrier pretty high and the other carrier not so high, and you want it closer but maybe not that much closer. Well, then yeah, make this number 5 or 7 or 8 or whatever, and play with it and see how it looks for you. AJ, no, the carriers frown on that. So DHL does have a rule in place that requires you to not charge more than the DHL published rate. This does not take that into account because DHL does not provide us any way to monitor that for you. So if you are abiding by that rule, and most stores are not, and I'm not going to tell you to abuse that rule at all. DHL DSPPs are not technically supposed to charge more than the published rate on the base rate. On surcharges, they do not monitor that. But on the base rate, seldom, I don't think that usually this will go higher than that unless your FedEx and UPS is really, really high, but might. So it's something to watch. I think that's a good point, and I think in the future having an opt-out for DHL, particularly for stores that do want to obey the rules and have their rates set for DHL where they won't go over published rate, I respect that. I respect rule followers here. So that's something I think, in fact, I'm going to write that down as a DHL opt-out in the future. Okay, good. And like I said, nothing is set in stone here. We're willing to work with you on it. We do need to hear from you. We will get 1,500 different things, but that's okay. We need to hear from you. Should we require a tax ID for all international shipments? Well, no, because most countries don't have such a thing. So that's not a good idea, but now getting harmonized codes for all countries, that's a good thing. I'm going to really encourage you to do that. But getting a tax ID, not all countries have those. In fact, the United States doesn't have it. So if you're international and you're sending to the United States, we would never give them our social security number to put on it ever, right? So no. And the update, again, people are coming into this late. The update with SmartRating is due out this week. I'm crossing fingers for tomorrow. Chelsea, for package receiving, that is already available. Reach out to support. Just so you know, UPS, if you missed it at Annex Brands Convention and at RS Expo, UPS did announce that Amazon QR codes will be coming available to you. It won't be 100% of the programs. 100% of the programs, just like FedEx, has a lot of things. There's I want to say that I'm aware of 5 or 6, but there's probably 10 or 12 different QR code programs that UPS has. So the standard ones will be coming to you. The others, like big and bulky or package list verify, that's where you bring in a shirt or a pair of shoes and you give it to them. And you've seen it happen at the UPS store, maybe where they put it in a clear plastic bag and throw it in a big box with 3,000 other things. That's a consolidation program. Those won't be right away to you, but those programs may come available. So the UPS, Amazon QR codes are coming to you. It will not be, UPS has announced, it will not be in 2025. And the holdup on this is the tech team at UPS has to put it in their third-party APIs so that when they give it to us, we can connect to something. So right now, we have nothing at UPS to connect to send it to. So it's got the green light. They just have to prioritize the tech team to get it done. My best guess is 2026. But trust me, we'd never have a conversation with UPS without starting with the any news on when we can get the Amazon QR codes, because we know that that's what you want. So we always start off our conversations with them with that question. And they keep reminding us they have approval, but they still have to get it on their tech team to do it. So Iman asks, which countries require the tax ID right now? I'm gonna ask that you Google that, because the list is, I want to say 10 or 12 countries. Mexico and Brazil are in the lead of that, but I did not memorize them. I think Peru, I think Chile, mostly South American countries, but not all. So please research that. Okay. I think we have mostly covered it. I want to thank you for your time. I apologize for the bloopers. That'll make a fun blooper video, because I stayed up too late finishing this last night, and I have to wait until the end because we have to finalize everything before I can teach it to you. So you'd be surprised at how many things are pulled last minute because we didn't have time to test it or whatever. So I apologize for my bloopers, but we can all make fun of me about it. Thank you, everybody. You will get an email late today with the link for this video, this recording. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.